We brought the question I posed in the last class that by Rav Chaim's Levaya, his son said that 5 minutes preparing for blot of Yishalmi, that's Bitul Terror. But on the other hand, um, writing tshuvas written on napkins by 6-year-old kids is not Bitul Terror, right? So what's Bitul Terror? What's Bitul Terror? This question was bothering me to no end until I came up with the following answer. Right? We all have a special purpose in this world. Every single Jew has a special purpose that no other Jew has. Right? And the Mesilas Yesharim starts a sefer with this incredible line: Yisod Chasidus v'shor shadvoda tmima, she's by v'zam ezeitzalada machabas palama. Right? U'ma'u sark shiyas mabato magbato kol hashamu kol mechayev. The foundation of Chasidus, of righteousness, right? V'shor shadvoda tmima, and the root. You need two things. You need a root and a foundation, right? The root, right, of avodah tmiyah, of perfect service, is to clarify what your purpose in the world is. What is his purpose in the world? We should focus his long and short-term goals. Everything he does, he puts his effort into all days of life. We have to know what our job is in this world. If we know our job in this world, it will be easy. We just have to do it. The difficult part, right, as my Rosh Yeshiva once said, he said, the emes is very easy. It's getting to emes it's hard. Once you figure out what you're supposed to do with your life, it's easy. You just have to figure it out. My Rabbi, Rosh Shlomo Brevda said, Rav Chatzkel Levenstein told him he just has to say as many shirim as possible. So from morning to night, he was going across the country and the world saying shir. Right? Rav Chaim understood that his job in this world was not to say a shir on the Yishalmi. Rav Chaim almost never said shirim. Right? He almost never said shirim. It was not his job. It was not his personality. Right? And I don't think the 5 minutes preparing was the time preparing the Gemara. It was how he's going to say it, which words are he going to use, maybe mustering up the courage to speak in front of an audience. That was what the 5 minutes was. It wasn't his job to be saying a shir for Yishalmi. The year that his father was nifter, he had a chiyuv kibbut aveim, so he had an obligation to say something in his father's name, a shir. The moment that year ended, that's not my job. Rav Chaim's job was to be the father of the whole Jewish people. Right? Not one person in Klal Yisrael, I don't think, didn't benefit from Chaim. His davening, his brachas, his tefillahs, his eitzes. Yeah, he was the father of the entire Jewish people. Right? His job was not to give a shir on 4 blot of Yishalmi. He didn't think so. And therefore, that 5 minutes was Bitul Terror. Bitul Terror is any time you're doing something which is not your purpose in the world. That is called Bitul Terror. Right? And therefore, even giving a shir on 4 blot of Yishalmi, that could be Bitul Terror. But writing tshuvas, answers to 6-year-old, 7-year-old kids, is not Bitul Terror. Yeah? And in fact, the Vilna Gaon says in Mishlei, Zayin Yudalit, he says the Yetzer Hara doesn't come to a person with averas. He comes with mitzvahs. He says, do this mitzvah, do that mitzvah, bring in korban shlamim, it's great. And from korban shlamim, you like meat, and from meat, you'll go to restaurants. From restaurants, you go to non-kosher restaurants. Non-kosher restaurants, you'll eat tarfus. Yeah? So this is how the Yetzer Hara works. Not with averas, with mitzvahs, right? The biggest challenge in dealing with the Yetzer Hara is that he confronts us with mitzvahs, and that's what makes it so difficult. Rav Chaim felt 5 minutes preparing a shir in Yerushalmi, the 5 minutes that of this, that, whatever side things that he had to do, that for him was not his purpose, and that was Bitul Terror. But dealing with children, nobody he dealt with in the world was Bitul Terror, and this was Rav Chaim's Godless. He knew exactly what Hashem wanted from him. He wanted him to be a father of the entire Jewish people, and not 1 second of that time spent was Bitul Terror. On the other hand, preparing a shir in Gemara Yerushalmi, that could be Bitul Terror. And we all have to apply this to our life. We all are obligated to try and figure out, why am I here in this world? What am I doing here? Why did Hashem put me in this world? What am I needed for? Everybody is needed for some reason. Everyone has a special purpose. Everyone has a special tafkid that no single person else has. Everyone has that. Yeah, we have to figure out, how do you do that? Everyone has to take, says Mesilas Yesharim, at least once a week. Take half an hour, right? Really, it should be every day, but at least once a week. Fix a time. Make a time to do cheshbon nefesh, and think, what am I here for? What am I here for? On our website, rabbitravis.org, yeah. So we put out a Corona app, which is just this: obligating yourself, taking upon yourself once a week to do at least 5 minutes of cheshbon nefesh, and think about what you're doing. And this is what the Mesilas Yesharim says. We're so busy with our iPhones and our emails and our calls and our this and our that. It could be even learning Torah. We're so busy with our learning Torah that we don't think about what we're doing here in this world, right? We could be saying Shir Man Yushalmi, and that's Bitul Terror, and not giving chizuk to kids, and that's not Bitul Terror, right? One of Rav Chaim's Godless, or perhaps his main Godless, was he knew exactly what he was meant to do in this world, and he did it. He learned was a Asmana Gedula. He was a father to all Jewish people. He wrote wonderful svarim, yeah, and many, many other things that he did. Right? He fulfilled his purpose in this world, and that is what a gadol is. A gadol uses every second doing exactly what he's meant to be doing, and not anything else. This was Rav Chaim's Godless. Yeah, and we could all be a gadol in this way. But the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out, what are you doing here? The Kutzker says an incredible idea. Yosef HaTzadik was going to go down to Mitzrayim, 13 years of licentious before he became the Mishnah Melech. Yeah, slavery, jail. Before he went down, he needed some sort of preparation. What was that? He met the Malach Gabriel in the Sada, and the Malach Gabriel asked him, "Ma tevakish? Ma tevakish?" Says the Kutzker, before Yosef could go down to Mitzrayim, you have to know, what do you want? What do you want out of life? What are you doing here in this world? Why did Hashem plop you down Olam Hazeh? The Gemara says we would have been better not to be born, right? Machlokas, Beis Shammai, and Beis Hillel spent years discussing this. It would have been better not to be born. Yeah. Why did Hashem send our neshama down to this world? It must be for a reason. Once you know that reason, then your life will be totally different, because you could focus on the main things that you should be doing and not get distracted by side things. So this is an incredible idea we could take from Rav Chaim's 5 minutes of Bitul Terror, right? To know what's Bitul Terror and what's not Bitul Terror. Anything we're meant to be doing with our life, that's not Bitul Terror. Once we get involved with things we're not meant to be doing, at least a man, you should be learning Torah during that time. Yeah, we should be learning Torah during that time. And therefore, even 5 minutes preparing a Shir Nishami, doing the side things needed, whatever that was, that's Bitul Torah, right? But helping every single Jew with their problems and crying with them and laughing with them and giving them brachas and thinking about them and giving them eitzes, yeah, that's not Bitul Torah, because that was exactly what Rav Chaim was meant to be doing. And we also have to try to figure out. And the only way to do it, there's no shortcuts. Yeah, I've been working on this for years and years and years. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of in my computer, right, trying to figure out, what am I doing here, right? What am I doing here? And Hashem has helped me to get some clarity in this area. So let's all do that. Let's all commit ourselves to at least 5 minutes a week, preferably half an hour a week, right? Don't try every day unless you have a set time you could do it, because it's a big Atar. You'll accept every day and you won't even do once. Yeah, you can go onto our website, rabbitravis.org. We have a app that you could load to commit yourself to a time and a place, and and an amount of time to do that. And B'ezrat Hashem, if we do that, then we'll see great peiros, right? The Mithalter Shalom promises great bracha in anybody's life who takes the time to think about their life. What am I doing here, right? What for me is Bitul Torah? What's not Bitul Torah? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I not supposed to be doing? When we get this clarity, our lives will be filled with joy, knowing that we're doing exactly what Hashem wants in this world. Amen. Kain Ratzon.